Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone. We are from Group 3 from 5B class. The member of Group 3 are Dea Nur Aprilani, Ibnurosita Augustia, Anindya Gustira, and Melita Alit Rahmania. In this video, we will present about family types and traditions. But before that, I will give some vocabulary or types of family and their definitions. Check it out. The first is nuclear family. There is the mother, father, brother, and sisters. And beside that, there is extended family. The member outside of the nuclear family include grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, nieces, and in-laws, or relative through marriage. And then autonomy or independence, control over one's lives. And then the elderly, the population of the very old. And the last is single parent family, a family consisting of the children and one parent, either the father or the mother, but in US usually the mother. And then let's get to the main discussions. Family types and traditions. Family types and traditions. There are universal dimensions of a family life, and the functions of a family are similar around the world. But family structures and their methods of satisfying human needs differ greatly or very different. For example, one needs only to observe how parents talk to their young, how children respond to their parents, and the degree to which children's independence is encouraged or discouraged, to know that there are significant cross-cultural differences among families. Child raising. Acculturation, which begin at birth, is the process teaching new generation of children the custom and values of the parents' culture. How people treat newborns, for example, is indicative of cultural values. In US, it's common for parents to put a newborn in a separate bedroom when the child is new weeks old. Part is the reason is economic. That is, many houses are large enough to offer each child a separate rooms. However, Americans have other reasons for separating their children physically soon after birth. Parents like to preserve their privacy. By having their rooms, the children will also be able to have privacy when they are older. In addition, the children will eventually learn to be responsible for their own living space. This is seen as the first step toward personal independence.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ibnurosita Augustia from 5E class. I will continue the discussion from Dea Nur Aprilani about child raising. Let's watch the video. And the first, Americans have traditional, highly independent, and closely related value of individualism in high esteem. And at a certain age, children must be independent of their mother and learn to stand on his own 2 feet. And then from and early age children are taught to make decisions, take responsibility for their action, and sometimes children work for money is a first step toward building autonomy. For example, mow their neighbor lawn and slightly older children might deliver newspaper or babysit. And the second, young adulthood. The first, American children have difficulty being anchored, but usually not forced to leave the nest and begin independent lives. And the second, parents do not arrange married for their children. Nor do children usually ask their parents permission to get married. And the three, children choose their own spouses. They still hope that their parents will approve of their choice. And the last, free to choose another career. For example, my deliberately decide not to go into his father's business because of he fear that he will lose his autonomy. And the last, the elder. Elder also reflects the values of independence and individualism. And the second, 15% of men aged 65 to 74 on and women in the same age group live alone. And the three, some non-ethnic families, for example, to difficult emphasize obligation to the nuclear family rather than to the extended family. And the last, the disadvantage of this type of living arrangement is that it results in a separation of the generation, and some people see this as psychology unhealthy. Others prefer the separation. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Anindya Gustira Purmalasari, and I would like to continue my friend's presentation in the chapter Family Types and Traditions. So I will explain the I until P points. So let's begin. The next discussion is the nuclear and the extended family. In I points, it's explained that the nuclear family consists of the father, the mother, and the children, or this is the family. The extended family, which consists of grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, nieces, and in-law, is important in the United States, but in different ways than in other cultures. Attitudes toward the elderly can be further understood by distinguishing between nuclear and extended family structures. Members of the extended family are not necessarily consulted when it comes in making major decisions, and it is not assumed that the extended family members will take care of the children in the family. In some other cultures, it is assumed that the extended family members will take care of older members, have intensive contact with relatives, and establish communal living. And in J points, the distinction between the nuclear and the extended family is important because it suggests the extended family ties and obligations. In extended family, the children and parents have strong obligations to other relatives. And in the key point, or it is the last point, the American nuclear family usually has its own separate residence and is often economically independent of other family members. When couples marry, they are expected to live independently of their parents and become head of household when they have children. In times of financial need, it is not unusual for nuclear family members to borrow money from a bank rather than from relatives. Unlike practice in some other cultures, many couples struggle to buy their first home and their financial need. Okay, and the next discussion is working wives and husbands. So in this discussion, there is L points until P points. The L points explain that in both nuclear and extended families, the culture imposes set gender roles upon parents. It means that in the United States, gender roles have been redefined, with an increasing number of mothers in the workforce. A major reason for this change is the women's movement, which has influenced society's views of desirable educational goals and careers for women. In addition, because of financial necessity, it is often no longer possible for a family to live on one salary. Next, there is M point. Explain that it is estimated that both spouses work in 63% of American marriage where there are children aged 6 to 17. The women are often carrying an extra burden. They work outside the home, yet they are still primarily responsible for the maintenance and care of the household and children. In addition, they want to pursue their professional interests in order to fulfill themselves and to contribute to the larger society. And next, the N point. A challenge for couple with children is finding daycare and work so that they can coordinate their time between home and work. Because of this, most couples changing work pattern involve negotiating home and family tasks. Because occasionally, husbands stay home and care for the children and home while the wife works. Although some men with wives who contribute to the family income resist doing that. And the O point. In some cases, among the highly educated, there are dual career couples, where both the husband and the wife work full-time in high-level professional jobs. For instance, lawyers, doctor, professor, and manager. In this family, there is generally a more equitable sharing of family and house responsibilities than in the larger population. And last but not least, the P point explains that couples cannot find employment in the same geographical location. So, one will move and commute back to the family on weekends. And some couples believe that their family life is better because they make the most of the little family time. Okay, those are my presentations, and the next will be delivered by Melita. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, my name is Melita Rahmania from Group 3 and today I would like to give explanation to you about family types and tradition. So please keep on watching. There is single parent families. Changes in the American family structure are evidenced by high rates of separation and divorce. It is estimated that almost 50% of all marriage end in divorce. This trend have resulted in a high number of single parent families headed mostly by women. Many of these women do not receive alimony or child support payments and are more likely to be poor than married women. Single mother and single father often feel stretched to their limits with the unending responsibilities that face them. They carry the burden of supporting a family and being totally responsible for their children. They have very few opportunities for rest and relaxation unless they have supportive extended family members who will help them. Despite the high number of single parents in the United States, there is no indication that marriage is becoming less popular. The remarriage rate remains high with approximately 4 out of 5. The first couple eventually remarrying other people. When single parents marry each other, they create step families or blended families. And next, there is varieties of family in the United States. In the United States, there are no families that would not have been called families. 50 or 100 years ago, the largest percentage is still the traditional family with two parents and children, but this type is not even the majority of families in certain areas. Children can belong to two families. For example, if their parents are divorced, they may live with one parent for half the week and the other parent during the second half of the week. A family may be a blended one in which both parents have been divorced, each with their own children. They remarry and bring both sets of children into the marriage. Two women or two men with or without children can also constitute a family. Couples who have decided not to have child or unmarried couples who have chosen to live together may likewise see themselves as a family. A single parent, divorced or widow, having complete responsibility for the care of the children, would not one be considered to have less of a family than someone in a family with two parents. The regional, ethnic, and religious heterogeneity in the United States mean that people will react differently to families that are non-traditional. Individuals also vary in their reaction to diversity in family type. In other words, people within a region or an ethnic group will disagree on what constitutes a family. In general, on the West and East Coast, there is more tolerance for diversity in family structures than there is in the South or the Midwest. Also, in areas where people tend to be more religious, there seems to be less acceptance of the non-traditional family. The various family types found in the United States may not have much in common, but they do demonstrate that the family as an institution is not dying. It is instead one that is changing and is being accommodated by a society that does not enforce sameness in family lifestyle. The changes in the traditional family structure are seen by some as a breakdown or disintegration of value and decline in morality. Others, however, believe that this shift in family shape are inevitable in rapidly changing society. I think it's enough for today material from us. Thank you so much for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.